against relatively weak creatures. I think I like Bonds of Quicksilver more than Surcharge here as well. I just I don't want him to be an just a blank 1/1. Okay. My opponent's deck doesn't seem too threatening. Excuse me. Not much to discuss here. I guess I could think about bringing in early blocker, since really I think the only way I'm losing this match is against a randomly aggressive start. But we'll see how the second game goes first. This is for sure a mulligan. Well, that's definitely keepable. Similar to my last hand, but this time I have a slightly better 2-for-1. And well, I did have 7 cards in the other one. But I have access to all my mana and a 2-for-1. And there's another one. Okay. No, none of my 2-for-1s are active yet. I think I just hold them. I could potentially instill infection his guy, and then trade my leaden mirror for it. No, I don't really need the mana, so let's do that. I just kind of want to dig at this point. Otherwise it was a wasted turn 4. Oh, yeah, another land. I'm not especially worried if he doesn't stick some pressure to the board, because eventually I will draw something that takes over the game. Okay, well, I guess my instill infection might have been a little bit better had I held it. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of Scrap Melter on that guy, but I don't really want to sit back and take damage. Yeah, okay. Well, disperse is good. I can reuse my Scrap Melter if I need to. Depending on what I draw, the Rustic might want to. Well, I might want to kill the Rustic. Ideally, he uses removal right now. Yeah, that's good for me. If he did it on his turn, I wouldn't have had to disperse yet. Lesson learned. Well, he doesn't know I just drew it, so he may not have learned anything. There wasn't much possible value to get out of not playing it on his turn, though. I guess if I draw an equipment. I have 0 green mana in my deck, so might as well. I'll get a swamp here. That allows me to Carnifex Demon and activate same turn. Okay, I'm just gonna kill that rustic. I think it's better than just dropping the replica. The replica will let me rinse and repeat if I need to. I'll let him shrink him first. Ooh, or not. Actually, I kind of want to play replica first. I think it's actually more important to protect my golem, because that's going to just end the game in a hurry. There's some argument to make of maybe bouncing my golem now, or when I played it, but which gives me, like, turns off his removal. But I mean, I can just, if he has removal, I bounce it and I just make, because even if I bounce it in response to removal, it doesn't change the trigger of still targeting my other guys. But I mean, he needs 2 removal spells to deal with it permanently anyway. Okay, actually it's an interesting choice to do that during his turn. This is a time where it's better to wait for his turn, because he can just do it to whatever he blocks, so that he keeps his vampires. Ooh, that's that's a bad one. That makes me lose some life. But well, it's only on 2 of them. But it takes a pretty nice chunk out of my life. And even if with another removal spell, he has an empty board, and I've got Trigon of Thought coming to help draw into some more gas. Oh. That's a good card, but not with an empty board. At first, I thought this card was way too slow, but it does. He's never going to get it active, but it does do so much, and it's such a threat. Just dropping it on the board is a threat. Your opponent really can't. They're forced to bluff, at least bluff removal. They can't play out their hand because you're just. So unless they have so much removal that you're not going to be able to stick a threat, it's definitely worth playing in most field decks. All right, I'll see you. All right, off to round 2. This is an iffy hand, because it has 2 cards that aren't going to help until much later, especially, like, I only have, I guess, 1 blue mana from the Spell Bomb. And Tower is not going to do much until I'm at 8 mana, which is probably roughly going to be roughly the same time. That being said, I have the Instill Infection to help draw a card, and I've got the Spell Bomb to get me at least 1 island. And I have the mirror for acceleration, so I think I'm going to keep it, but again, I'm in pretty bad shape against an aggressive start. Oh. So I could play the mirror here and have it die to an artifact, which is, there's a ton of them that could kill me here, that could kill it here. So maybe I am just better off waiting for the instill infection, and I get to crack my spell bomb for another island in the meantime. So instill infection will eventually take care of the Embersmith, but I'm going to take some damage first. Maybe he holds off from playing another artifact. Oh, I almost F6 through my spell bomb cracking. At this point, I still don't really want to, like, even though he may have used up one of his artifacts, it's still pretty likely he has another, and it doesn't even accelerate me all that much, since it doesn't speed me up into the instill infection, which is pretty much what I'm almost certain to do on turn 4. Maybe I get my island here. It's more likely that I'm going to need that island than I'm going to need that mountain. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'll continue to dig. Mimic that is a little troublesome. I could eventually volition rinse it. I'm happy to see a Mimic that. Oh, actually, is that worth me not drawing a card to turn off his Embersmith from going into his Mimic that? It's definitely worth holding, at least for now, since it actually is an answer to something being Mimic vatted. I still think I gotta instill infection the Embersmith, but I might as well do it during combat, so that he doesn't get a free attack if he has no other use for the mana. Very slow hand for me, but here maybe I just play the Trigon of Thought. I can either do that or I can do 2 mirrors. I think I like the 2 mirrors better. Hopefully I can get that 3rd island to take care of the Mimic Vat. He actually